Alright everyone, today's video is going to be about Grand Crusade and how to farm it in the most efficient way possible. When I say I'm talking about auto farming Grand Crusade, because if you do it manually, it's a different story. But I'm now talking about for those, which I'm sure is most if not all of you, who want to auto farm Grand Crusade while you are busy doing in real life stuff. So this goes for both auto farming in a single area, and you just, for example, auto advance and just do this, put make round trip on, and just auto farm the area. And it also goes for just farming in general, just progressing in Grand Crusade. And so that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to explain the best teams to progress or farm in Grand Crusade, because it takes quite a lot of time. It could take quite a lot of time depending on what you do. Because, for example, I've been really busy with the mines, with all the new stages, with new episodes, with the kill collab, and now the fade collab. So there's so many things. I had no time for Grand Crusade, but now I do, and hence why I'm making this video, because I want to explain to all of you that there is a way to farm Grand Crusade as quick as possible. Literally as quick, like there is no quicker way than this. So in case you aren't aware, in episode 2 Grand Crusade, there used to be the one unit popping off a lot, which was Shadow, because a lot of bosses have a lot of high evasion basically, and Shadow decreases that evasion and allowing your whole team to just hit the boss easily. However, now that we're in episode 3, this is not the case anymore. You don't need accuracy at all. So because of that, you don't really see Shadow anymore. However, you do see Okrun, regardless if it's episode 2 or episode 3. Why? Because he's just the best unit in the game pretty much. But I am going to explain a different kind of way about Okrun, and not just Okrun, about DPSs. So, team building. This is the most important part about Grand Crusade. Team building. I know that, because now that I've been talking to people about Grand Crusade and stuff, I have noticed that not a lot of people do this. And when it comes to Grand Crusade, all you really need is a nuker and a taunt tank. You don't really need anything else. So I know that some of you have teams I don't know, I'm just throwing something here because I have these units. For example, Stark with Aira, and then Gerald as a taunt tank, or maybe not even a taunt tank, just, and then maybe Summer Iris as a arch general and damage buffer, and blah blah blah. However, although the team does have a nuker, which is Stark, but it's a slow nuker. It's not an instant nuker. So that was I haven't seen someone with a team like that, but it's similar to that kind of team. It doesn't include an actual one-shot nuker, because all these tiles, if you have your activity on 1, all these tiles they're easy. They're easy in the way of the bosses are one-shot. You can one-shot almost every single, they're not bosses, they're mini bosses, because this right here is a boss. But all of these tiles are one-shot. They're all one-shot. Because, like I said, activity, 1 tile, 2 teams, that is the way to go. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I highly recommend you do, because I'm explaining a bit more about Grand Crusade there, alright? And this video is more about the best teams. So if you haven't watched my previous video, I do highly recommend you watch them. But of course, I will say it again though, in case you aren't aware, activity on 1 and 2 teams is just it's the way to go, guys. It is the way to go. You're making the most out of your energy. You're making the most out of your teams. You're just making, it's the most efficient way. All right, 2 teams, 1 activity per tile, or whatever you want to call it. All right, so back to the teams. Let's actually get into the teams. So as you can see here, I have Toma, Rosetta, Hoka, and Momo. And in this team, I have Gerald, Yubel, Okrun, and Eleanor. Why these teams? I just kind of explained it, but in case you didn't see it, it just requires a taunt tank and a DPS. The taunt tank here is Gerald, and the DPS here is Okrun. The taunt tank here is Toma, and the DPS here is Momo. This is all you need, guys. This is genuinely all you need. And I did explain it in my other videos, and I just explained it now as well. 2 teams is the way to go. But I do actually have a 13, because first of all, I can, and secondly, Whenever you defeat a boss, you get 10 AP. That extra team will use that AP if really needed. So I feel comfortable with 3 teams, but 2 teams is more. It's good. You're so good with 2 teams. You're chilling with 2 teams. Seriously. Anyway, so back to the teams. The way I like to do it is taunt tank in the first slot, support in the second slot, DPS in the third slot, support in the fourth slot. Taunt tank in the first slot, support in the second slot, DPS in the third slot, and support in the fourth slot. Now, you're probably wondering, why the hell is Momo on the fourth slot then? Because she's a DPS. Yes, I agree. Hoka is not DPS, or Momo is. However, for some weird reason, Momo is incredibly weak. Like, generally, she is very weak. She gets one-shotted. And now you're probably wondering, what do you mean she gets one-shotted? You have a taunt tank. Yes, but keep mind you, the taunt tank does take about 1 second to actually taunt. And Momo doesn't die in that 1 second, but Momo gets low. And the only reason I'm worried about Momo getting low is if we go to her and we look at her kit. If we look at the passive, it says here super crit rate up and normal crit rate up when above 80 and 50% HP. This is huge. Like, if she is below 80% HP, she's losing a lot of value, a lot of damage. Therefore, I am putting her in the last slot because for some reason there she doesn't get any damage. So yes, the way I do it is taunt, support, DPS, support. But if you want to mess about with it a little, if you want to change it about, you're not forced to do what I do. This is just how I feel comfortable. I want to be organized, and I have every single team: taunt first, support second, DPS first, and another support fourth. That's just the way I do it. That's just the way I do it. You don't have to copy me, but you can if you want to. Anyway, so except on this team, because for some reason Momo dies and she doesn't die on the fourth slot, so it is what it is. I mean, everyone gets low, not low, but like if they take damage, it's fine on every single team, just not on Momo's team because she's not allowed to get low. Anyway, just for saying, nobody dies in my team. And if somebody does die, it's on this team because Gamagori takes a tiny bit longer. But I have revive on this team, on Misaka, because the only one who would die is Misaka, nobody else. And so we're safe. We're really safe. And on this team, nobody dies. I've never, ever, ever had a problem with anybody dying on this team. Neither goes for this team. Well, I used to have the issue with Momo. And sometimes Rosetta does die, but that's because she's a Woken unit and not that tanky. And because, like I just said, these stages, all these tiles are very easy, but they do one-shot your units, which is why you need a taunt tank. The only unit that sometimes does die in this team is Rosetta, but even if Rosetta dies, it's absolutely fine, because whenever she dies, she will have given the arts to Toma, and Toma would be taunting. So it's fine, because nobody else dies. Anyway, back to the teams. So, this is the kind of team that I want to use. And that I highly, highly recommend everyone to use. And I'm going to explain you why. Because in Grand Crusade, like I just said, every single tile is one shot. There, you can just one shot it. So with a team like this, a taunt tank that ensures that your team doesn't completely die, and 2 supports just being there, they're just supports, and then the DPS. All you really need is a taunt tank and a DPS. That's all you need. But of course, we need some arch gen, and you have 2 extra slots. So of course, use them as support. Same goes for this team. Same goes for this team. And I'm going to show you how actually my team works. So let's say, for example, Misaka's team. We use auto advance because we're out farming. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just gonna let the game do its job and my AI do its job, which I will actually, as a bonus, show you. So as we're here, as you can see, Lisa immediately gave the revive to Misaka, and Gamagori took a second to taunt tank. Why did he take a second to taunt tank? Because the way I do it is on this team, only on this team. Also, by the way, as you can look, there you go. Misaka just absolutely one-shots the boss. Took 8 seconds, less than 10 seconds. It takes less than, it doesn't take that long. Anyway, so what I would normally do is have a unit give 100 arts to a taunt tank so that that unit will immediately taunt tank. However, that does not apply in this team because there are so many support slots. Well, not so many, but there are enough arch gen in this team that Gamagori will taunt tank by himself. Because as you can see, he gets 40 arts from his physical equip. He gets 30 arts from the free run support equip. He gets 30 arts from the Lisa support equip. 30 plus 40 plus 30 is over 100. So he also gets 100 art gates from his true weapon. And Wait, what did I just say? 30 plus 30 plus 40 is over 100. That is exactly 100. That's all he needs. But mind you, B output also exists, and he will get enough. All right, that's what I'm trying to say. He gets enough art gates to get his true arts up and to taunt. And so as you just saw, I will go into deeper explaining once I show the AI. But as you just saw, it's a quick match. 8 seconds, Misaka nukes, boom, team dead. Now let's go to the second team. I'm just gonna quickly show you the second team. Actually, I'm not gonna. Oh. Okay. Anyway, so let's just do that. Toma's team. I mean, Momo's team, because she's the DPS here. So, in Momo's case, you can see here, I have way more support slots, but it just doesn't work the same because Hoka needs the arts himself. Rosetta gives the arts to Toma so that Toma instantly arts. And obviously, Hoka super arts so that Momo gets a true arts. And because Momo takes a bit to super arts, I will also make Hoka arts, which is what I did with my AI, so that Momo does get that 100% attack up. And there you go. As you can see, everybody is just doing their job, and Momo is just absolutely one-shotting the boss. And there we go. That was a lot of damage because she's super critting, and because she is super critting because she's high HP, which is how she works. And so therefore I can't afford for her to get low at any time. And then of course the Okrun team, the third team, as you can see here, we have a taunt tank, we have 2 supports, and we have DPS. All you need, everybody does their job. Taunt tank gets the arts, taunt tank does the taunting, DPS does the super arts, does the big damage, and then the supports doing their own jobs, and just easy clear. How long does it take? About 7 seconds, give or take. There you go, 6 seconds. It really did not take that long. And this is how you want to be farming every single tile in Grand Crusade, because this is just the best way to go. Imagine if all your ooh, I got a potion, nice. Imagine if all your if all your tiles just take about less than 10 seconds, you'll be flying through Grand Crusade. And this is why I'm showing this video, because I want you to fly through Grand Crusade like I am. And so anyway, so now that you have seen my teams in action, I will actually show you my AI. I have done this before, but not really into depth. So now I'll go into depth. So first team, Gamagori. Before I do, I am going to show you my AI to give you an idea on how, first of all, AI works, and secondly, to make your own team, because I just quickly want to say, everyone can make it work in Grand Crusade. Yes, you can get unlucky and not get the units you want. Yes, some units or some people have other units that you don't have. Yes, I get all of that, but trust me, you really don't need that. You can play this game by just being creative. Because who would ever think about using Momo as DPS? Yes, she has super crit. Yes, she does damage, but she's not a DPS. I agree with people saying that she's not a DPS, because she isn't. Her damage is just too low for her to be a DPS. I made her a DPS. It's a different story. I made her a DPS. Because she gives 200% magic water up. She gives equipity, and she gives damage resist to all allies. She is more of a support than she is a DPS. And her multipliers are also lower than an actual DPS. So I made her DPS by having a right team. And as a new player, it's a bit more difficult. But once you continue in the game and get a lot of awoken units and get more ascending units and blah blah, you can make it work. It doesn't matter how, you can make it look. I'm using an awoken unit here. I'm using an awoken unit here. I'm using a GS unit here. I am not using a GS unit here, actually. Well, except the awoken unit. And I am using a GS unit here as well. And yes, of course, Lisa is really good, but you get my point. You can make it work without having HK Raw. You don't need HK Raw. You don't need War God Fan. I don't have them either. And I am doing fine, or even better than most units that most players that do have HK Roy. You really don't need HK Roy to clear the game, because I have seen so many people saying, I'm going to pity HK Roy, I'm going to pity. You really don't need to. And you're far better off pitying other units, especially crossover units, than actual GS units. In my opinion, HK Roy is not pity worthy. Of course, with an all-star banner like this, I would heavily recommend you pull, especially as a new player, summon as much on that banner as you can, but not until after you summon on the crossover event first, crossover banner first. And then if you do manage to pity both banners, which is 100%, like, you can't do that, 100%, whatever the word is, you can't do that. You can't pity both banners as a new player for sure. And if you did manage, then you can pity HK Roy. Because I'm not going to say HK Roy is a bad unit. He's not. He's insane. but he's not pity worthy. None of the GS units are pity worthy. The only GS unit that is pity worthy is a GS unit that you like, which for example in my case is SG Lisa. I would pity SG Lisa if I didn't have her, because I love Lisa. I would pity Isolate if I didn't have. I don't have him, and I would pity him, and I was very close but didn't. Anyway, I would pity Isolate because I love that dude. That good. I'm sure if you see my previous video, you will see how much I love Isolate is like that guy that is just, I don't know why, I can't explain, but that guy is just awesome. Anyway, back to what I was saying. You guys can make it. That's actually also what I wanted to explain in this video. It's not just about having the best units in the game. Yes, of course I'm using good units, but you don't necessarily need them. You can use substitutes. For example, if I had Fern, I would be using Fern over Momo, but I don't have Fern, so instead I made it a substitute and used Momo instead. If I don't have Hoka, there's another unit, Summer Juno. You can use Summer Juno instead of Hoka, and it will still work because you don't need the art gauge. Hoka is good for this art gauge. Anyway, I am talking a bit too much about like this, but I'm just trying to explain, guys. You can make it work, and I hope that this video also shows you that you can make it work, because all you need to do is understand how a unit works and then make them do their job the right way. If you do that, you can make almost any team work. All right, so just remember that, guys. I really hope that this helps a lot of people. Like Johnny, I just hope that this helps a lot of people, because a lot of people, especially like on YouTube, that kind of stuff, they don't explain that every single unit has a way of working. Not every, look, there are some units that are really useless, but almost every single unit has a way of working. Like you can make it work. Everybody just says, oh, get HK Void, oh, get Hoka, oh, get Fen, oh, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, I don't have HK Void or Fen, but I do have Hoka, and in my opinion, he is not that good as people make him to be. You don't really need him at all. Like, I was doing fine with, for example, Yubel, and people would say Hoka is way better than Yubel. Not for me. Yubel does way more damage than Hoka. Yubel does the decreased crit resistance, as well. Yubel gives accuracy on the entire team with their super arts. Hoka gets 300% damage up, which Yubel doesn't do. But honestly, I've never seen that I needed that 300% damage up. But that's just my personal opinion. And what I'm just trying to say is you don't need those crazy units. But again, that's my personal opinion. You might disagree, which is absolutely fine. Everyone has their own opinion. Anyway, for real now, I'm going to show you my AI. So, I forgot if I showed Gamagoris or not, but no, I didn't. Alright, so for real, guys, sorry for the little explanation there, but just remember what I said. Gamagori, Grand Crusade. Let's get back to the video. So, Grand Crusade. Gamagori, really simple. You just True Arts, and that's all you need to do. Because it's just that easy. You just need to True Arts. But in case that the match takes a bit longer, you want to ensure for every single taunt tank, by the way, this applies for every single taunt tank, you must ensure that he uses his True Arts before using his skill. So he is not allowed to use his skill before he uses True Arts. So the way to do that is this: when the unit's True Arts has been used 1 time or more. So when he uses True Arts, then he is allowed to skill. Because if you don't do that, it will take a while for him to actually True Arts. And we don't want that. We want him to True Arts as soon as possible, otherwise your team dies. Because like I said, some of these tiles just one-shot your team. So, True Arts first, and then whatever you want. For example, I have True Arts every 20 seconds, and Super Arts whenever he hits the 200 target, like it's whatever. Because all he needs to do is True Art. Because these 3 taunt tanks that I'm using all have the zombie passive, like where they don't die. So when they die, they stay alive for 5 seconds. Those 5 seconds, if they are taunting, is more than enough for the nuker to kill the boss. So that's why I'm using these kind of taunt tanks, because even if they die, which they won't, but even if they die, they'll stay alive for 5 extra seconds, and that's more than enough time for the DPS to kill the boss. So, Gamagori, taunt tank, and as you can see, I have his true weapon, and I have an equip that gives art gauge, so that he is using his art gauge quicker. Oh, it gives 60 art gauge, what the hell? Okay, so 60 plus this gives 40 or 20 or 25. Okay, so 25, 60, 25, and 30. So that's 95 art gauge plus BE output. He's getting enough art gauge. So yeah. Anyway, so that's Gamagori. Then we have Freerun. Freerun, I have the normal AI. This is my normal AI on her because Freerun is not here for her kit. Freerun is here just for the defense ignore, which is also her kit, but you get my point. She's just here for the defense ignore. It doesn't really matter what she does. It won't really make that big of a difference unless it's a boss fight. So that's why I have this AI in case that I am autoing a boss fight. And these equips. Very simple. Misaka, incredibly easy. Just super arts. You just super. Misaka is so. Oh, she's my favorite unit with Lisa. She's my favorite unit to use. I absolutely love using Misaka. She's the healer. She's a DPS. She's a support. She's everything. And she's so good at those things. And yeah, anyway, all you need to do is just super arts. But if it's a boss fight where you can't one-shot the boss, then you want her to super arts, then use a skill, and then of course arts, true arts, super arts, whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable with. Anyway, this is my AI for Misaka. Of course, don't forget equips. Oh, and I have that she uses her equip 3 when super arts because her equip 3 gives crit rate. So, you know, we want her to crit so that he absolutely demolishes the boss. So that's Misaka. Then we have SG Lisa, which for me is equip 3 immediately to Misaka, which is her revive equip. She gives a revive to Misaka so that in case she does die, she does not die. You know? You know what I'm saying? Because she is still a DPS. DPS are always like incredibly weak, or almost all DPS are super weak. So in case she dies, which she rarely does, but just in case, she revives and she doesn't die, and then by then Gamagori is taunting. So yeah, use equip 3 so that she doesn't die, and super arts. Why does she super arts? So that she gives about a 300%, I think it is, or 200. No, I think it's 300% magic damage buff to all allies, and Misaka just melts the boss even more. And then once she has super arts, then she's allowed to use a skill. And if it's a boss fight, I have true arts and super arts on like in turn. So super arts, true arts, super arts, true arts. So because, you know, that's all she needs to do. And that's me. That's Eshilisa. Then the second team, we have Toma. As always, again, arts first, then use a skill. And that's all. He just arts. Just arts. That's all. He just needs to arts. It's that simple. He gives 20 arts. He gives 35% magic resist. He gives a shield. He does everything with his arts. So just arts. You don't need the damage buffs from all the other true arts and super arts, because at least even in my team with Momo, who isn't that strong, she will still do enough damage. So just arts with Toma. Then we have Rosetta, who is the one who gives the arts to Toma, because without a unit that gives arts to the taunt tank, how on earth is the taunt tank going to taunt? If you use Toma's skill, which gives 100 arts, yes, but it takes 3 seconds for him to finish the skill. And once again, I'm talking about auto farming, not doing it manually. So it will like take 3 seconds for him to to arts, I mean. And we don't want that. We want him to arts immediately. So you give the taunt tank 100 arts, which in my case on this team is Rosetta. She has access. She gives access to Toma. That's the first thing she does. Then she gives the second equip, which is 2x gate, to Momo, so that she charges up her super arts. It's not for the crit rate, because I mean it's also for the crit rate, but in case she gets low somehow. But the point here is she gets art gauge because, you know, she needs her super arts, because she's actually one of those units that can't get her super arts quick. And then she just true arts. Rosetta just true arts, because with a true art she decreases the enemy's magic resistance and water resistance, which is good for both. Which is both good for Momo. And then once Momo has used the super arts, she'll use this equip, which just does decrease defense to the enemy for 8 seconds by 20%, which is small, but it's something. So yeah. Then we have Hoka. Hoka just super arts. But because Momo takes a second to load her super arts, I also have arts on him. And yeah, so that Momo is getting that 100% extra attack up. And because why not? So that's it. And then yeah, just super arts. That's all you need to do. Just super arts. And then Momo, of course, the DPS, super arts. She just kicks the enemy and boom, everybody dies. As you just saw. You just saw how she did that. She just big damages, boom, everybody just bye-bye. So yeah, that's how Momo works. That's how my Momo AI is. Then we have the last team. We have the GOAT himself, Gerald. I have first arts on him. Why arts? Because he doesn't get enough arts to true arts, so I want him to arts first. Once he has used his arts, then he is allowed to true arts, because I mean by then the boss is dead, but then he's allowed to true arts, because of course true arts is better than arts, and of course equips. Then we're going over to Yubel. Yubel is just a support here. She has true arts, arch. True arch, arch, which is crit rate is down, art gauge up, and the arch is accuracy up and super arch damage up, and just buffing, because that's all she is here for. She's a support. Then the main DPS, of course, Okun, the guy himself, super arch, just everybody just gone, whoosh, boom, whoosh. Stupid unit. This unit is like the dumbest unit ever created so far, because he is so broken. I will forever say that he is currently in this state of the game. He is the most broken unit in the game. With Okun, I can agree. Like, not with Hokar. I can agree with Okun. Okun is just stupid. So yeah. Anyway, Okun, stupid unit. Just bye bye everyone. Just gone. Whoosh, gone. So yeah. Anyway, Okun. Yep, that's it. Okun. Then last but not least, Eleanor. Eleanor is here pure and only because she has a 5-star support slot. That is all there is to it. No other reason. I could have used Heart, but I don't need to. I just want to use Eleanor because she's Earth. Heart's also Earth, but she's Earth. And I'm actually not sure why I'm not using Heart. Because he also has a 5-star support slot. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's about the 5-star support slot. All she does is give the 100 arch to Gerald, and there you go. He's taunting. That's all there is. That's generally all there is to it. He's taunting. Oh yeah, I'm not using Heart because he's a healer, and if Gerald is low and then he has Truth of Eternity activated, and then he doesn't even have Truth of Eternity, but whatever. Anyway, that was okay. Anyway, I don't know. He did have Truth of Eternity, just not anymore, because I got a 4+ on him, which is not Truth of Eternity. And yeah, so anyway, that's all Eleanor does. She's just here for the 5-star support slot, and then of course super arts whenever she can. And yeah, so that's basically the AI of my teams. Since I talked about Crest, I'll just quickly show you my Crest as well, because why not? So on Gamagori, I have Truth of Eternity and defense 200 up. Godchild, which is a baby version of Truth of Eternity, because yep, he's not dying now. Free Run is art gauge up because it's generally the best Crest there is for her, and then Equipment CT because that's also the best best Crest for her, because she wants to get that true arts or arts as soon as possible, and that she does that with arts. And then if it's a long match, she will get those equips going on faster. Misaka, she has attack up because, in case you didn't know, she has the attack ratio. So she has attack up. She has all status up because she has the attack ratio. She has forced contract because she has the attack ratio. And yeah, she has the attack ratio. So I just want attack, and attack. It's the smartest way to go. And 10% arc, 10 arc gauge up is also really nice because it's quicker. It's not that big of a, like, it's only 10, but it's still something. And then anyway, the 600 attack up is what I'm aiming for. And then we have Ashley Lisa with Magic Circuit, which is by far the best crest for her, and it's also the best crest for Misaka actually, but I never got it because it's like it's not a limited crest, but it's like an on banner quest, whatever you want to call it. It's not easy to get. If I did have Magic Circuit on my Misaka, it would be replaced with all status up. Anyway, so Magic Circuit to get the skill, and Equip CT going faster because Equips, obviously she's the Equip girl, and then also Arch Gauge with her skill, Art Gauge up because getting that true Arch super Arch quicker, and all status up because I like that. I mean, some people go heal the healing crest because she has this at LB7 a heal slot, but I don't use it as a healer. I use it as a support DPS or sub DPS, whatever you want to call it, and that's just my way to go. That's how I like to use my Lisa. And then the second team, let's see quickly what their crests are. As for Toma, I am going to change it. I've changed my mind. I am actually going to change this 4+ of defense to a normal 4 of Truth of Eternity, and of course Godchild. It's better, honestly. I want my unit to be efficient, and yes, a 4+ does look nicer, but I want my units to be efficient. So anyway, so that's that. So anyway, yeah, Truth of Eternity. And then we have Rosetta, who doesn't have a crest. And then Hoka, who has Art Gauge up, which is all that I wanted. But once I get more 4+s for him, I will give him Equip CT speed and Skill CT speed. Or if he gets Magic Circuit with a lucky, with a lot of luck, then it will be Art Gauge up, Magic Circuit, and I don't know, maybe I'll see. And then we have Momo with Gem Magecraft, which is Equip CT speed up and Magic damage up, which is really nice for Momo because she will get her equips going longer, especially since she has a defense slot, and also magic damage up because I use it as a DPS, and as you can see here, attack up because I use it as a DPS. Unfortunately, she does not have the attack ratio, but it's whatever. Anyway, And then going on to the last team, we have, whoopsie daisies, we have Gerald, which also has a 4+, but unfortunately it is defense up. I wish that was Truth of Eternity, and I'm not sure if I want to change the 4+ Truth of 4+ defense up to a 4 Truth of Eternity, because seeing a 4+ on Gerald is really cool. So I'm not sure yet, but I probably will just leave it, because I can get a second crest at 30 luck, which is probably never gonna happen, but you know, and then get the Truth of Eternity, but I'll see. Anyway, then we have Yubel, which is exactly the same as my Momo, Gem, Magecraft, and Attack Up. Before, like when I started playing, I used it as my main DPS, but now I'm seeing that she's just this insanely versatile unit that just does almost everything. And I think I want to change this Attack Up to Art Gauge up, but I'll see, because fluxing your crest can be really annoying, so I'll see. Anyway, so yeah, she's just a support here. Then we have Okun, because and then we have Okun with attack up because he has the attack ratio, and then I'll say this up because he has the attack ratio, and then projection because he has the attack ratio. And then you might be wondering, hold up, projection, why not force contract? Because force contract gives 10 art gauge and 600 attack. Projection gives 500 attack and 5 equipment CT. In case you didn't know, Okun has the jumpstart passive, 200 art gauge up every single wave. That 10 art gauge is so useless, I don't need it. I much rather have 100 less attack and 5% equip CT up than 100 more attack and 10 useless 10 art gauge up. And this is, however, this is my personal opinion. I don't see why you would ever go, like why you would ever have art gauge on Okun or on anyone with the jumpstart passive. Anyone who has the jumpstart passive, I personally would never ever go art gauge, any sort like force contract or even the normal art gauge crest. I would never go on them because that's just a waste of crest. You can do more damage by having attack up or all status up or crit damage up or any of that sort, rather than just art gauge. So yeah, I'm using projection, 500 attack up and equip CT speed up because he has a support equip, so that is super useful. Anyway, that's Okun. Like I said, attack ratio, so that's why he has these crests. And then Eleanor, we don't care about Eleanor because she's just there for the 5-star support slot. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I was going to explain in this video. I really hope that it helped. I said a lot in this video regarding like you can make it work because you can. Everyone can make it work. I know that all of you can. All you need is just a bit of creativity, and yeah, I just want to let everyone know that you can make it work. Alright guys, don't give up on this game just because you don't have the best units. This is not the way to think. You can do better than that, and just keep the positivity up, because I really hope that this game is starting to go into a positive way, and I might make a separate video about that. But yeah, anyway, thanks so much for watching. I really hope this video helped. If you have any other questions or if you need help with anything, make sure to join my Discord. It will be in the description, and regardless if it's help with Grand Crusade or anything else, just join it. I'm sure that will help you. And yeah, thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.